And how is it different and unique in still other ways? Well, it's not like the competition, for example, that the United States has with other capitalist countries. We are now competing with China, we in the United States. Western Europe and the United States on one hand, China and its allies, the so-called BRICS on the other. These are the two great competing blocs, and I mean really competing. China outproduces the United States in many commodities. China has achieved levels of technological sophistication with which the United States really has to struggle to keep up. That's why President Biden is throwing money at semiconductor chip producers. That's why we have a 27.5% tariff against the Chinese electric vehicles, because they are the dominant electric vehicles being produced in the world today in terms of quality and price. So there's stiff competition, but it's unlike anything the United States has before, because before our competition was in other capitalist countries, Britain, France, Germany, Italy, Japan. Now the competition is with a society that doesn't call itself capitalist, that calls itself socialist, that has an enormous role for the government and one for a communist party that is clearly in charge. So that's new, and that's different, and that's going to produce different outcomes. It's also a competition not like the one the United States had with the Soviet Union. Why? Because China has, for most of the period of the last 70 years, now for more than half of it, openly welcomed capitalist enterprises to develop inside China, both those owned and operated by Chinese individuals, private capitalist enterprises, and those brought over from Western Europe, Japan, the United States. There is a private sector, roughly half the economy, and there is a state sector, the other half. This is unlike anything that existed in the relationship between the United States and the Soviet Union. So you have a peculiar relationship. There's really more collaboration between the United States and China than there ever was economically between the United States and the Soviet Union. But there's also economic competition, much more profound than existed between the United States and the Soviet Union. In other words, the Chinese experience, especially in its relationship to the United States and to the larger private capitalist world of Western Europe, North America, and Japan, is unique in many, many ways. And that has to be understood, given that China is now the second most developed and powerful influence on the world economy, and might very well, before the end of this decade, be the number one shaper of world economic events.